I think we are live now. I think we are live now. Cool. Hello everyone. Welcome to Android Study Jams 2021. So I am Jeevan Johan Varghese, an inner core member of GTA CVIT, and I will be the facilitator for Android Study Jams this year. So yeah, I hope people are still joining the live stream. So let's wait for like 2 more minutes. Let's start at 7:05. Yeah, also I'll be looking at the chat simultaneously in on YouTube, so you can post anything that you feel. If you have any doubts in between the session, you can post it in the chat. There will be a team handling your issues also, so yeah, feel free to drop in your comments in the chat session. So yeah, let's wait for like 1 more minute. Yeah, I see a lot of people on the chat. Hariharan, hi, Aishwarya, hi guys. How are you all doing? Like, how's your college going? Is it still online or uh, have you been to college yet? How is it going? It's still online for me, so I know it's a little painful. So, yeah. How are you guys doing? Like, are you all doing good? How's your studies? Okay, so some people still have it online. Hmm. Okay, so let me share my screen now and let me know in the comments when it is visible. Is my screen visible? Let me know in the chats. Is my screen visible right now? Yeah, I think it's visible. So, yeah, let's start with our first session for Android Study Jams. So, once again, welcome to Android Study Jams program. So, first of all, what are Android Study Jams? You might be thinking this. So, Android Study Jams is a program designed by Google to help people get started with Android development. And of course, we will be doing all our apps in Kotlin, which is the preferred language for Android development. And all further documentations or libraries provided by Google will have documentation written in Kotlin only because it is now the primary language for developing Android apps. So yeah, it will be helpful to people to get started from scratch. For absolute beginners, it would be really helpful. So that you can get a hands-on experience on Android development in Kotlin. So yeah, so throughout the series of Android study jams, we will be covering this course called Android Basics in Kotlin course. So this is the link to the course g.co/android/basics. So our organizers will be posting this link on the chat. So you guys can feel free to check this course out. Yeah, I hope the link is available right now. There will be organizers will be posting it on the chat and you can see a banner with the link to the course. So yeah, This is the course. There are total 6 units inside this course, and by the end of this series, you are supposed to finish all these 6 units, which will give you a great base for Android development in Kotlin. So it is starting from basics and going to a particular amount of advanced level. So you can try this course out. This is the curriculum that we are going to follow throughout this series. So I will quickly show you how a unit looks like. So this is what a unit looks like in this course. The first unit is Kotlin Basics for Android, and it has 6 units like this. And inside each unit, you have a particular number of pathways. So what is a pathway? A pathway consists of videos, code labs, and finally a quiz. So this is what a quiz looks like. It helps you to get an understanding of how much you learned. There is a qualifying mark for each quiz. So you have to get that mark to complete this pathway. So once you complete all these pathways, you finish a unit. And hence, when you finish all these 6 units, you are done with this course. So, what should you do as a participant for Android Study Jams? You have to complete all 6 units in this course that I just showed, and also submit an app before the study jam ends to get a chance to win exciting swags. So, this is what you're supposed to do, and we expect you to complete all the 6 units before the study jams end. And what will you get as the reward? Of course, you will get a lot of experience in developing Android apps, and it will be a great experience for you. Apart from this, we will be giving a certificate of completion, which says that you have attained an amazing basic skills for Android development in Kotlin, particularly. And also, the best part is you will be getting 80% fee reimbursement for associate Android developer in Kotlin certification. How cool is that? It is a great opportunity, guys. For those who don't know this already, Associate Android Developer Certification, also known as AAD certification, is a certificate of great value provided by Google, and it will always give you an advantage in your career as an Android developer. So this is a certificate of great value, and this time you will be getting 80% fee reimbursement for this when you take this exam. This is what you get as a participant of Android Study Jams this year, and we hope you will make use of this opportunity. So yeah, these are the things that you will be getting. And now, how will we know that you have completed all 6 units? So there is something called Google Developer Profile. So Google Developer Profile is a great way to showcase the skills that you have earned through this course as well as from other courses by Google. So I will just quickly take you to my developer profile so that you will get an idea what is a developer profile. Okay, so you will be having a URL to your developer profile. So this is my public uh, Google developer profile URL. So this is what a Google developer profile looks like. You'll have your name, you can have your picture here, then you can have a line of text here, then you can have links to your social media handles like Twitter, LinkedIn, you can have link to GitHub and all, and there is something called badges here. So what is a badge? So this is what a badge looks like. So each time you complete a unit, you will get a particular number of badges. So when you complete all the 6 units, you will be getting all these badges that are shown in the slide right now. So this is how we are going to track your progress. So we will be sharing a Google form soon where you can fill in your URL to the developer profile. So we will be tracking your progress there. We will be checking the badges that you have earned so that we know you completed all these 6 units and you will be eligible for this certificate and fee reimbursement. So yeah, this is what badges look like. Also, we have a Telegram group specifically for Android Study Jams 2021-22. So all communication regarding this program will be through this group, and you can use this link to join the Telegram group for Android Study Jams. Our organizers will be pasting this link in the chat session. Also, there will be you can see a banner soon showing this link. Yeah, I hope the link is available in the chat right now. Yes. So you can use this group to have discussions, to network with other participants, and also post your issues or errors that you're facing when you're actually developing apps. So all our technical team will be available on the Telegram group to help you out, and also you can communicate with other participants as well. So make sure that you join this Telegram group immediately, and all other further communication will be through this group only. So it's important for all participants to join this Telegram group. So yeah, before we move on, let me go to a poll right now. So yeah, you will be getting a link in the chat right now. To enter this poll. So yeah, one thing that you can do is you can follow the link posted in the chat, or otherwise you can go to this site called minty.com and use this code 3240044, or you can just go to the link given in the chat. If you are on a laptop right now, use your smartphone to go to the link. Yeah, we already have responses here. Cool. Yeah, come on, guys. Which is your favorite app? That one app you cannot live without. That's the question. Yeah, we have some responses here. Let's see who is the winner. Okay, we have a lot of apps here. Let's see who will be getting a great majority here. Yeah, come on, guys. Post your favorite app. Let's see which is the most popular app among our participants for study jams this year. Which is that one app that you cannot live without, or which is your most favorite app? Let's see. Okay, let's end the poll in five seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, and here we go. So I think Instagram is the winner here. There is Spotify and WhatsApp also. Yeah, so we have still a lot of responses coming in. We have WhatsApp, Instagram. Oh, there is someone who posted this together. Yeah, so I think Instagram, WhatsApp, Spotify has a tie here. Cool, guys. Thanks for your response. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being so quick. Okay, so let's move on to today's topics. Yeah. So we are going to have mainly three topics today. First one is going to be Kotlin Basics, where you will be getting an intro to Kotlin, and you can know about the variables, functions, and classes and other concepts in Kotlin. Then we will move on to build our first ever app for this Android Study Jam series, which will be a birthday card app, where you will get an idea about Android Studio, layout editor, how to bring images to your project, and things like that. Then finally, we will build a dice roller app where you will get an idea on how to use Kotlin for the logic of your app. So yeah, I guess, are you guys ready to get started with the first topic for the day, Kotlin Basics? Let me know in the chats. Let me know in the chats whether you are ready. Yep. Show a fiery emoji if you are ready. Yep. I think everyone's ready. Let's get started with first topic for the day, which will be Kotlin Basics. So yeah. So you might ask me this question like, should we install anything to try start learning Kotlin? Should we install any IDE? Should we install anything else in particular? what I would say is no. There is something called Kotlin Playground where you can try all your Kotlin code online. So I will be taking you to the Kotlin Playground right now. We will be pasting this link in the chats right now. If you are on a laptop, go to this link and try out the code along with me, and so that we will be on the same page. And if you guys are facing any errors or doubts, you feel free to post it in the chat section. We also have a dedicated team to help you out. Also, I will be looking at the chat simultaneously. So yeah, let's go to Kotlin Playground now. Yeah, so we have Kotlin Playground here. So this is where you are going to write your Kotlin program inside this editor. You have a triangle on top right, which is the button to run this program. So it is very common to start learning any programming language by printing hello world, right? So let's start by doing this. Let's try running this, which is all running this program, which is already written here. Let's try running this. Yeah, we just successfully ran our first ever Kotlin line of code, and it prints hello world. So yeah, we are now officially into Kotlin development. So let me explain each line here. Uh, you have a keyword called fun here. So what does this mean? Fun is the keyword used to write any function in Kotlin. So any function in Kotlin should start with the keyword fun, followed by the name of the function. So this function is the main function. So if you have done any other programming languages, you might already know this. Main function is the entry point to this program. So every Kotlin file will be having a main function, which is the entry point for this program. Then we have a parenthesis followed by a curly braces. So whatever we write inside this curly braces is the body for this function. And we have written print line. So print ln means print line. And within that, within double quotes, we have a text hello world. So what does this mean? Print line is a function which prints the text that you are given here in a line. So there is something else called just print. I will just show you what's the difference. Just print hi, then again print hi. Let me try running this. Okay, you see the difference now. When I give print line, it prints on a line, and when I give only print, it does not add a new line character to the end automatically. It just keeps on printing on the same line. So this is the difference between print and print line. So I hope all of you are following me. We just tried out two different prints. One is print line, and the other one is just print. The difference is one will be printing on the same different lines, one will be on the same line. So yeah, now let's try to change this text and print my name here. Let me print Jeevan. Let's try running this. Yeah, it prints Jeevan. So now let me try removing this quotes, and let me try running this. Oh no, we got an error. So what is the error? Unresolved reference Jeevan. So the compiler doesn't know what does this Jeevan mean, right? Because we didn't define this particular thing anywhere. We didn't give any value. This is not a variable name or anything. So if you want to directly print a line of text, you should always keep that within quotes. Now it should work. Yeah. So let's now take a look at what are variables in Kotlin. So variables in Kotlin are of two types. One is val and other one is var. So val is the one that you cannot modify. So once you assign a value to a val variable, you cannot change it. It cannot be reassigned. But var is the one that can be modified as many times as you need. First, you assign a value to a variable, then you can change it as many times as you need if it is a var. But you cannot modify a val. I will just show you how this works. Let me have a variable called val name is equal to g1. And how do we print this name inside this print line function? We just give the variable name, and let me try running this. Yeah, it prints Jeevan. So you might have noticed I didn't give quotes here. Why? Because this is referring to this variable name. So that I am printing the value of this variable name. So I don't need quotes here. So let me try to change the value of this to, let's say, John Doe. Let me try running this. We got an error. Val cannot be reassigned. So this is the idea of val. So val is supposed to have only one value. It cannot be reassigned. So this is the concept of val. And if I change this to var, var, let me try running this now. It prints John Doe. So the latest value gets updated to this variable. And this is the difference between val and var. Okay. So yeah, I think you guys are following me. Yeah, so someone has asked in the chat, is Kotlin and JavaScript almost the same thing? So the val and var thing and some stuffs are common, but Kotlin is slightly different from JavaScript. But you might have some things like this val and var in common with JavaScript, but Kotlin is different from JavaScript. So yeah, now let's move on. Let's say I want to print hello Jeevan. So how am I going to do this? Let me say hello. Now I want to print Jeevan. So how to get the value of this variable inside this quotes? We are going to use something called string interpolation. For that, we are going to use the dollar symbol followed by curly braces and this variable name. Let me try running this. Yeah, it prints hello Jeevan. So in order to get the value of a variable inside this quotes, inside a string, you just use the dollar symbol followed by the variable name. In fact, we don't need curly braces in this particular context because it is only a single variable name, right? So it will work the same if you remove the curly braces. But if you're going to use an object dot its attribute or something, we are going to discuss classes and objects in a few slides. So if you are going to access attributes or methods of an object, you should definitely use curly braces. So let me keep it for now. Yeah, it prints hello Jeevan. So this is string interpolation. So you might have noticed that I didn't specify any particular data type for this, right? So in other programming languages, the common thing that we see is we just write the data type first. For example, string name is equal to Gmail, or integer int age is equal to 20 or something. So that's how we do in other languages. So in Kotlin, most of the time the Kotlin will infer the data type automatically. So you don't need to specifically mention which data type it is, but you can also mention specifically like this. By having a colon after the variable name, you put a colon, then type the data type. So this is a string basically. You might already know this. Texts are called string. Let me remove this line for now, and let's say we have John Doe here as name, and then let me have another variable called age, which is going to be an integer. So int is the keyword for integer, and let me say it is 12. And now let me try printing this. Hello, and followed by this. Let me try running this. So yeah, it prints hello John Doe, you are 12. So this is an integer data type. We have other data types like Boolean. Let me say I have a variable called is available. And it will be of type Boolean. So what is a Boolean? Basically, Boolean can have only two values, true or false. So let me say it is true for now. It is also possible. Then you have a double data type. Let me say I have a variable called percent, which is of type double. So when do you use double? You use double to have numbers with decimal places. Okay. Now, so these are some common data types in Kotlin. There are other data types also, so we will see as we go on. So yeah, so let me show you how arrays are made in Kotlin nodes. So let me know, do you guys have any doubts till now in the chats? I hope this will be very easy for all of you. Like this is very common to other programming languages as well. Okay, so let me show you how arrays are made in Kotlin. So let me say I have an array called companies. And how are you going to make an array in Kotlin? We are going to use a function called array of. And let me add some values in here like Google. Okay, so this is how you make an array in Kotlin. So let me show you how to loop through each elements in this array. So we are going to use a for loop. So we are going to write for. I'm just going to give a name element which stands for element in companies, which means we are going to get access to each element in this array called companies. And let me print the names of each company here. We try printing this. It prints each element on each iteration. So I got Google, Apple, and Amazon, which are the values inside this array. You can also have arrays of with values of different data types. So let me make another array called ARR2 and create an array. Let's say it has Google, then an integer 10. Then let me have a Boolean here, true. So let's loop through this for now. Yeah, so this is also possible. You can have an array of different data types. So we have a string here, an integer here, and a Boolean. So we can have all this in a single array. So this is how you make arrays in Kotlin. So yeah, I hope you don't have any doubts. Let's take a look at conditionals now, how conditional statements are written. Let's say I have a variable called age, which has a value, let's say 10. And I'm going to write if age greater than 5, print hello. If we try running this, it prints hello. So what just happened? We are writing a keyword called if. So if this is a condition, age greater than 5. So what is the value for age? It is currently 10. So if 10 is greater than 5, so this is a true condition, right? This condition is true. So it is going to execute whatever we wrote within these curly braces. So it is going to print hello. So let me change this to, let's say, 3, which is basically less than 5. It won't print anything. Why? Because this condition is not true. It does not satisfy this condition. So we didn't write what should happen if this condition is false. So how do we write what to do if this condition is false? We have a block called else, where you can print. Let's say I'm going to print hi. Let's now try running this. It prints hi. Why? Because age greater than 5. This condition is false because this is 3. Then it came to the else statement, because since this is false, it comes to the else block and executes whatever we wrote within here. So it prints hi. We can also have other conditions in between, like else if age equal to 3. Let's print age is 3. Let's now try running this. It prints 3. Why? Because first it checks this condition, whether age is greater than 5. It is false. Then it comes to this particular line. It checks whether age is equal to 4. Yes, age is equal to 3. So the value for the variable age is 3 and it is equal to 3. So it prints age is 3. So you might have noticed it didn't come to this else statement. Why? Because this statement is already satisfied. So it just comes out of this particular ladder. This is called else if ladder. And it comes out of this. And the next line that we write here is going to be executed. So yeah, this is how you write an if else statements in Kotlin. So before we move on, let me show you how to write comments in Kotlin. So single line comments are written like this. This is a comment. You can have multi-line comments like this. So this is how you write comments in Kotlin. So writing comments is a good coding practice. Whenever you write a piece of code, you just write what do you mean by this particular block, so that if someone else is going to read your code in future, it's very easy for them to understand what you have written. So what does this particular function do? What does this particular block of code supposed to do? So this is a very good coding practice, and you should be adding comments when you're actually building on a project. So this is a good coding practice. So this is how you write comments in Kotlin. Now let's see what is called as when statement in Kotlin. So when statement is very similar to switch case in other programming languages. Let me show you. Let's say I have a variable called OP, which stands for operator. It is going to be a string, and let me give you an initial value plus. I'm going to write now when I will explain this in a minute. When OP, let's say print 2 plus 1, it is minus print 2 minus 1. And if it is multiply 2 into print 2 into 1, and if is divide 2 by 1, and we will be writing an else statement also, print invalid object. So I will explain this in a minute. Let's try running this now. Yeah, it prints 3. So what just happened? We have a variable called OP, which has a value plus. So we're just checking when OP is matching with this particular character plus, print 2 plus 1. So this condition is matched here. That's why it printed 3. Let's now try changing this value to minus. It prints 1, which is 2 minus 1. So what happens in a when statement is you give a variable name here. It checks for these particular characters that you have written here, or these particular conditions that you are going to write here. If it matches, if the value of operator matches to this, it will execute this line written next to it. If it matches this, it will print this. So if it does not fall in any of these four characters, it will always print the else statement, which is invalid operator. So let me try giving a random number here, and let's try running this. It should give invalid operator. Yes. So this is the else block, which will be fired if any of the given conditions is not satisfied. So this is how you write a when statement. So we are going to use this when we are going to build the dice roller app and all. So yeah, this is very similar to switch space in other programming languages. Let me know in the chats if you guys have any errors or something. Cool. I think it's fine. Okay, so someone is asking duration of course. So So this session is going to be 2.5 hours, and if you're asking for the entire Android study jams, we'll be having at least 3 sessions, and you're supposed to cover the course that we just showed at the beginning. The link is available in the chats as well, so you can check that. So you can use single quotes as well. So if you use single quote characters to print a string, to print us a line of text, you have to use double quotes. Yeah, so I hope you have answer. I have answered. Cool. So let's move on. So we just saw the conditional statements. Oh, I think I missed a question. Is Kotlin case sensitive? Yes, Kotlin is case sensitive. Yeah, someone has already answered. Ritik has already answered in the comments. Thank you, Ritik. So yeah, let's move on to functions in Kotlin. So yes, how do you write a function? Let me now start by printing line happy birthday. It's happy birthday. We saw this already. Let me have a variable called name. Say Sam. Beach. So what I need is I need to print happy birthday Sam, you are 12. So how are we going to do this? Let me know in the comments so that I know you guys are following. You guys understood something. We already discussed this and I already showed you this. So yeah, guys, come on. Let me know in the chats what should be the syntax to print happy birthday Sam, you are 12. Yeah, come on, guys. Let me know in the chats. How are we going? How are you going to print "Happy Birthday, Sam"? You are 12. You have two variables here, name and age. You have to use this variable to print this particular message. So that is what I am using for. Yep, we have answers here. Rudrank is saying using $sign. That's correct. Bharat Sainad is saying print line happy birthday $name. You are 12. So yeah, Bharat, you can use the age variable inside the print statement so that it is a little more dynamic. Oh, it's great, guys. All of you are answering. Hariharan, Ayushi Singh, uh, Bahaj, Sparsh, everyone have given their response. I think, yeah, great going, guys. Good to know that you guys are following. All of you got the right answer. So, Hariharan, you have printed UR12. So, what you can do is you have to print UR dollar the age variable. Okay. So, yeah, good going, guys. Good going. Great job. So, yeah, let's now try to print a cake in Kotlin. So, yeah, I'm trying to print some candles here. Just giving some random number of candles here. So you have this example in the course that I showed you in the beginning. So it will be easy for you guys when you actually do that course. So yeah, let me try to print some layers as well. Let's have a multi-layered cake. Let's now try running this. Yeah, we successfully made a cake directly from Kotlin. So how cool is that? Yeah, guys. So we just printed a cake and a birthday greeting. So let's let's say we have another variable called name too, which is also going to be a string, and let's say it says John, and we have another variable called age. It's 8. We're going to print the same thing, but here you have to give name 2 and age 2. Let's try running this. Yeah, we just printed happy birthday John, you are 8, and the same cake is printed. So it works fine, but what is the problem here? Let's say you have 10 people and 10 ages. You have to repeat the entire code every time. Like, this is exactly the same lines of code and you are repeating it multiple number of times. It works, but it is kind of an inefficient way to do this. So this is where the concept of functions come into play. Let me write a function. So as we said earlier, all functions in Kotlin start with the keyword fun. And let me give it a name, print cake. And I'm going to copy this here. And I just removed those from here, and I'm removing this as well. So how do I call this function? For calling this function, you can write its name here, followed by parentheses. Let's do the same as well. Okay, now let's try running this. Yeah, it works the same, but you reduced the number of lines of code that you had. So now you have uh, written this only once, but you can access this as many times as you need just by calling this function. So we just reduce the number of lines that we wrote. So this is how we use functions. But right now, you might have noticed this person has an age 12, but only 8 candles are there, right? So this is not usually the case, right? If the age is 12, you should be having 12 candles. If the age is 8, then you should have 8 candles. So let's try to make this cake a little dynamic. So let's see what are parameters of a function, how to accept parameters for a function. Let me add here age. This is going to be an integer. And let me introduce a keyword repeat. Repeat age. I'm going to print this comma. So what does this repeat mean? Repeat means that repeat the particular number of lines that you have written within this curly braces for age number of times. For example, if I give 10 here, it just prints this comma 10 times. So you might have noticed I just gave print, not print line. So it will print the comma on the same line. 10 commas will be printed on the line. Uh, so that's what happens when I write repeat 10. So we need to repeat it for age number of times, right? If it is 12, we need 12 candles. So we need a new line after these commas, because the next line should be on these vertical lines should be on the next line, right? So I am just adding a new line here. So to add a new line, you can just have a blank print line statement. Then I'm going to print the lines that also should be repeated 8 number of times, and I'm going to print this. Okay, so let me try removing this for now, and let's try running this. We need a line break here also. Let's now try running this. We got an error. No value passed for parameter age. So what is this error? We are calling this function print cake here, right? But we are not passing a value for this parameter age. So age is a parameter for this function print cake. So whenever you call this function print cake, you have to pass value for this age. So I'm going to pass age here and age 2 here. Let me try running this now. Yeah, it prints 12 candles here and 8 candles here. Yeah, we made the number of candles dynamic. We still have an issue here, right? You have 12 candles here, but the cake is not big enough. So this should not happen, right? If you have a 12-year-old celebrating his birthday, just buy a big cake for him, right? So we are going to just make this cake layers also dynamic. So let's have another variable called layers so that we can accept the number of layers that the user needs. And I'm going to remove all this. And you see this character, tilde character. We need this age plus 2 number of times. I'll explain this. If you have the age as 12, you will be having 12 candles, right? We need 12 plus 2, that is 14 of these characters, so that we get a feeling of these candles are kind of in the middle of this cake, right? So I am going to write this line called repeat for 8 plus 2, and I'm just going to delete this line and print this. So this is going to print this thing for age plus 2 number of times. Let me add a new line character here and let's try running this. We have another error, no values passed for parameter layers. So you have to pass layers here as well. Let's say we need 4 layers right now, but it won't be printing 4 layers because we didn't write the logic for that. It will just print only 1 layer. So yeah, we have a layer which is big enough to hold these candles, but this candles are not in the middle, right? So for that, I will just add an empty character here. Here as well. Let's now try running this. Yeah, the candles are in the middle and we have a layer which is big enough to hold the handles. And we need 4 layers, right? For that, I'm going to use a repeat statement around this existing repeat statement. Yeah, so someone is asking in the chats, is repeat a inbuilt function? Yeah, repeat is a built-in function in Kotlin. You can use this. You don't need to import any packages or something. So yeah, we are going to repeat this for layers number of times. Yeah, and we are going to put this repeat inside here, and also we need a new line after each layer, right? We need to print the next layer on the next line. So yeah, we are using a concept of loop inside a loop. So you are just using a repeat statement inside a repeat statement. So for 4 times this much 4 layers will be printed, and age plus 2 number of these characters will be printed on the same line. So let's now try running this. Yeah, we have a 4-layered cake which is big enough to hold the handles. So we just successfully made a cake which is dynamic. So you can use this for any age and any number of layers. You can make this even 5 or 6 layered. It should work fine. You have 6 layers here. So yeah, we just saw how to write a function in Kotlin. So yeah, I will just quickly give you a recap of what we just did. We just wrote a function. So functions start with the keyword fun followed by the function name. Then you have parameters here, and we have 2 parameters here, age and layers, which are both integers. This is the data type. And here we used the repeat statement, which will repeat the lines written inside the curly braces for the number of times that we specify here. And then we used repeat inside a repeat. So this is how you print this is how you write a function in Kotlin. So yeah, I hope it's clear. Cool. So yeah, now let's move on to the class concept. So before that, if you guys have any doubt, feel free to post in the chats. Cool. So I guess it's clear. So what is a class and what are objects? So we call this object-oriented programming in a programming context, and it is called in short form as OOPS. So anything that you can think of in this real world can be made into a class. So a class, I will give you this classic example for object-oriented programming. So if you are going to refer any online contents or books or something, you might come across this example for a dog, which is a commonly used example for explaining classes and objects. So I'm going to use this for the ease of explanation. So yeah, each class has something called attributes and methods. What all attributes does a dog have? It has name, breed, age, and it has a lot of other attributes as well. But I'm just adding three attributes here. So what all methods are applicable for a dog? Like what all things that they can do? It can eat, it can bark. I just added two characteristics here. You can add whatever other things that you like. Maybe your dog can catch the ball that you throw or catch the frisbee that you throw and do whatever you say. So you are free to add that. I'm just adding these two for the ease of explanation. So yeah, so these are the methods for this class. So this is what happens in programming as well. You have a class, you have some attributes which are basically variables, and you have some methods which are basically functions written inside that class. So in this particular course, you have an example for this dwelling class, and its following subclasses called square cabin, round hut, and round tower. So I will be explaining this in the Kotlin Playground right now. Yeah. So before we move on to the dwelling example, let me clear this for now. Get output as well. Let's see how to write a class in Kotlin. A class starts with the keyword class. Let's say dog, and it has parameters. Let's say name. So it has a name, and it has attribute called age. Let's say 3. And we are going to write two methods here, which is bark and eat. Okay, so we just created a class called dog. Let's see how to create an object for this class. Say I have a variable called dog1 is equal to, you write the class name here, dog. So this is how you make an object of the class. It is the variable name followed by the class name. This dog comes from here. So you can give whatever class name that you like. Now we can access all attributes and methods of this class through this object. So what is an object? An object is an instance of a class. You are writing a class is like a blueprint, and you are creating the actual instances of this class. Like you can have multiple dogs, right? The dog is just a class. You can have multiple dogs with different values for name, age, and all. So this is what we mean by an object. So you can access its methods of the class using its object. Let's say dog1.bar. Let's see what happens. It prints barking. It just executed this particular function, print barking. So you can access functions and attributes of this class uh, using an object of this class. So this is how you simply write a class in Kotlin. So let's now move on to the dwelling example that we have. So yeah, let me clear this. We have 4 classes here: dwelling, square cabin, round hut, and round tower. So dwelling is an abstract class in this example. So I will explain what is the abstract class. So how do you write an abstract class in Kotlin? Abstract classes start with the keyword abstract. Abstract class. And then you have the class name, which is dwelling. It's going to have 2 abstract values. So I'm going to explain what is abstract in a minute. That's 2 attributes: building material and capacity. What is capacity? Capacity basically means the maximum number of people that this particular dwelling can hold. So what does this abstract mean? Abstract means that you are just writing a structure for the classes that are going to inherit from this class. So it is basically like setting up some rules that whenever a subclass for this class is made, you have to implement these attributes as well. So it will be more clear when I go to the subclasses as well. So what is a parent class and subclass? As you might have noticed, dwelling is on the top level here. Square cabin and round hut has this are on the same level, just below this dwelling class. Then you have round tower, which is further below round hut. So this is called class hierarchy. You have dwelling at the top. So dwelling is the parent class, or this we call super class for the square cabin and round hut. So it is a level up. So what all attributes or methods that you have inside dwelling, all its child classes will be having that as well. So you don't need to repeatedly write. Let's say there are some common things between square cabin and round hut, which is building material and capacity. So or you have another a function which is common to all these three things. We are going to write that function, so you don't need to repeat the same thing again and again in all three classes. You just need to write in the parent class. It will be available on all three classes. So I will give you a real life example for this. You inherit some attributes from your parents, right? Let's say your parents has you got the same hair color from your parents, but you got a different voice. So this is what is happening. From parents, you inherit some attributes, right? But you will be having some unique features of yourself. So this is exactly the case in here as well. All the attributes inside the parent class are available here. You can override that. Override means you can have unique features for that particular thing. You can have features different from your parent class, but you don't need to repeat the common things again and again. So this is what we mean by class hierarchy. So abstract class basically means abstract class are meant to be inherited only. You cannot create an object for a dwelling class. So if I try to create an object here, let's say var d1 is equal to dwelling. Let's try running this. Shows an error, cannot create an instance of abstract class. So abstract class are not meant to make objects. It is used for inheritance. So you are just writing a rule kind of thing here, that whenever a class is going to extend this dwelling class, it should implement this. Let me explain what is that. I'm going to make a class called square cabin. This is going to extend dwelling. So this is how you write, specify the parent class, a colon followed by this dwelling. Dwelling is the name of the parent class. And now let's remove this line and try running this. It gives us an error. Square cabin is not abstract and does not implement abstract base class member. So what does this mean? You have to implement this building material and capacity inside this square cabin class. So this is the use of abstract class. So you are just setting a rule that whenever this dwelling class is inherited in subclasses, you have to implement this. So in order to remove this error, I'm going to write a line. It starts with the keyword override val building material. Let's say it is wood, and capacity is 4. So let's now try running this. We don't have any error. So what did we just do? We just override we just did override the building material and capacity in the dwelling class. So what does this override mean? It means that you are going to assign this value for this particular variable building materials, which is originally available in the parent class. You are just overriding that. So we just implemented both these things, both building material and capacity. Now you can create an object for square cabin because this is a normal class. Let's say square cabin is equal to square cabin. So you are just calling this class here. You're just making an object of this class. Now you can access all its attributes. Let's say square cabin hut building material. And let me print square cabin dot capacity. Okay, so someone is asking if dwelling isn't abstract, can other class inherit it? I will be showing that in a minute. So yeah, I will zoom in just a second. Is it more visible now? I have just zoomed in. Yeah, I hope it is visible. Cool. So we just made the square cabin class. Let's write a function called has room inside this dwelling class. So how do you write a function? The same as you write uh, previously. Fun has room. This what does this function do? It will just check uh, whether you have more rooms in this particular dwelling. So what we are going to do is we are going to return residence less than capacity. So where did this residence come from? We don't know. We haven't written it till now. We are going to accept this as a parameter inside this. Okay, so what did we just do here? We just added a parameter called residence. So this is basically like writing a constructor. In other programming languages, you write a constructor, right? You write constructor is basically a function with the same name of your class, and it will be fired when you create an object of the class. So this is like writing a constructor, but you are just accepting whenever you call this dwelling class here, you have to pass this residence, or else you are going to get an error. So let me now try running this. We will be getting an error. No value passed for parameter residence. We have another error here right now. We will be fixing that in a moment. So no value passed for parameter residence. So you should pass value for residence here to the dwelling class. So, but where do we get residence value here? You have to accept that when an object for uh, square cabin is made. Let's now try running this. Yeah, we have another error here. No value passed for residents. That is because when we created the square cabin class, we didn't pass the number of residents. Let's say the number of residents is 4. Now try running this. That error is gone. But you have an issue here. Uh, type mismatch, infer type is Boolean, but unit was expected. Why? Because we are just returning a Boolean here. So this is a condition, right? Residence less than capacity, which will either be true or false. If residence is less than capacity, it will return true. If residence is greater than or equal to capacity, it will return false. So it has a return type of Boolean, right? So how do you specify a return type for a function? You put a colon after the function name and write the return type. So this function has a return type Boolean. Okay, so let's try running this. We don't have any more errors. So let's see how to access this function as root. Square cabin has root. Yes. Square cabin dot has root. So I'm just calling this function. You might have noticed this curly braces is required here because you are accessing a function of an object. Let's try running this for now. It says false. Why? Because the number of residents is 4 and the capacity is 4. So it does not have any more room for anyone. So it is equal to its capacity. It has reached its capacity. So it does not have any more room. So yeah. So you might have noticed I didn't write the hash room function inside this square cabin class, but it is still accessible uh, by the object of the square cabin. How is this possible? This is possible because you are inheriting from the dwelling class. So whatever functions that you write inside the dwelling class, it is accessible from its child classes. Now let me create the next child class round hut. It will also accept residence. It will also be inheriting from dwelling. It should also override this. Building material, let's say it's stroke, and capacity is 5. Now let's make an object around hut. Let's say there's 3 residents. Let's print all these for this also. Instead of square cabin, we need round hut. Now try running this. Yeah, it prints row 5 and round hut has room is true. Why? Because the number of residents is 3 and the maximum capacity is 5, so it has 2 more rooms. So yeah, this is how you write another class for this. Now let's try to write class round tower. Okay, it is also going to accept residents. Now it is not directly going to inherit from dwelling. It is going to inherit from round tower, as you might have noticed in this diagram. Round tower is inheriting from round hut. So how do you inherit from round hut? You just write round hut here instead of dwelling, and you pass the value for residents. You're good to go. And we are just going to override this. Let's say it is strong and capacity is 4. Okay, let's now try running this. We will be getting an error. This type is final, so it cannot be inherited from. So what does this mean? Right now, till now, we just inherited from dwelling, right? But now we just inherited from, when we inherited from round hut, it is showing an error. Why? Because by default, classes in Kotlin are final. So you cannot directly inherit from that class. So that is someone who is who just asked this question, right? If dwelling is an abstract, can other classes inherit? Of course, it can inherit from other classes which are not abstract. In order to do that, you have to use this keyword called open. So what does this mean? Because the classes in uh, Kotlin are final by default. So you have to use the keyword open so that you can inherit from this class in the subclasses. Okay. So I hope I cleared your doubt now. So in order to inherit from a normal class, you just have to use the keyword open. So let me create an object for round tower as well. Round tower is going to be an object of round tower of size 4. Let me print all this. To be round tower everywhere. Okay, so it just printed its attributes and it just called its method. So this is how you make classes and objects. So before we wind up this Kotlin basics, after this we will be covering, we will be getting into Android Studio. So yeah, before that, I will just show you one more statement called when. Okay, I will explain what is this in a minute. Let me clear this for now. Write when square cabin. It's not when. Sorry, it's a mistake. It's with. Okay, with statement. With square cabin. When is a conditional statement. It is not when. When it used with. Okay, with square cabin. So square cabin is. Yeah, someone is asking, can we get this code? Yeah, sure. I will share the code after the session. You can join the Telegram group. We will be sharing it there. Cool. So yeah, let's get back. I was just saying this with statement. With square cabin is this variable. I'm just going to keep all these print statements inside this and removing the square cabin dot from all these here as well. Okay, so let's now try running this. It works the same, wood 4 and has room is false. So what just happened? We are just using with square cabin. What does this mean? When you are writing print line building material inside this with square cabin, it is basically doing print line square cabin dot building material. In the next line, it is printing square cabin dot capacity. And in here, it is doing square cabin dot has room. So if you want to repeatedly access an object, you can use this with statement so that you don't have to unnecessarily write square cabin dot again and again. So yeah, this is how to use with statement. So yeah, in the actual course, you have some more functions inside these classes and some more parameters in round tower and all. There will be a function to print a floor area and all. You can try it on your own. If you ever face any issues, you can just ping us on Telegram group. We will be always there to help you out. So yeah, we just saw how to write an abstract class in Kotlin and how to make an open class and inherit from that. And then we just made objects for this class. We just saw with statement, and we just wrote a function. And this function is accessible throughout its child classes. So this is the advantage of object-oriented programming. You have less repeated code, so you can reuse your code. So code reusability is a great advantage of object-oriented programming. So if you guys want to have a deep dive into object-oriented programming, we have another video on the same channel of GDSCVIT. We have an object-oriented programming in Python. So it will be in Python. So there you will get a bit more explanation about object-oriented programming and its concepts, and it will be explained in Python, but the concepts are exactly the same. You can follow that. You can check that link. You can check that video on this channel itself. It is a part of DevCam series. You can check that to get, if you are interested in knowing more about object-oriented programming. So yeah, we just completed our first topic for the day. Now let's take a break for like 5 minutes. I will give you 5 minutes break so that you can just stretch out, drink some water, and we will be checking the chats. If you are facing any issues, you can just post it in the chats. Our team will be helping out. We have a 5 minutes break right now. So yeah, you can have a stretch. After this, we are going to build our first Android app. So we are directly going to start Android Studio. I hope all of you guys have installed Android Studio prior to the session, so you guys can code along with me so that we will be on the same page and we can solve any issues on the go. Okay, so guys, I'll be back in like 1 minute. Okay, 2 minutes, I will be back. Yeah. Hello, guys. I'm back. So, before we move on to the next part of our session, let's have a quiz now. So, yeah, our organizers will be sharing the link to the quiz. Right now, we will be using the same link that we used for the poll. You can go to that link right now. Okay, so the link is right now showing as a banner on YouTube. Okay, so the link is now available in the chat as well. So go to this link, guys, and you will be getting a question soon. Okay, so we have some participants here. Cool, cool. Come on, guys, join this. It will be a fun activity. It is going to be a question related to Android. Okay, we have some people here. I will wait for 10 more seconds for more people to join in. I will start the countdown in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Yeah, so let's see what is the question. So the quickest one will be getting the most points. Okay, so which is the first Android phone? So this is the question. So yeah, you have 30 seconds to answer. Which is the first Android phone? Come on, guys, you have 10 seconds left. Okay, we have some answers here. Actually, two options were correct. HTC Dream and T-Mobile G1 both are same only. Let's see who is fastest here. Okay, let's see who is the winner here. Okay. We have Ritik as the fastest for this quiz. So we will be maintaining this leaderboard till then. You will have two more questions. So yeah, you have chance to beat Ritik. So right now Ritik is leading. Then there is Santa, Sarthak, Prasanna, Shreya, and good job, guys. Everyone just attended. We will be having two more of these questions. So yeah, stay tuned for this. Let's get back to our session now. Cool. So I'm just reminding you about this Telegram group once again. So yeah, this link will be available in the chat. You guys can join this group if you haven't already. This will be the official group for Android Study Jams. You can use this for clearing your doubts or any other queries, and all communication regarding this program will be through this Telegram channel. So yeah, we are going to build our first app on Android Studio. So this is going to be the first app for this year's Android Study Jam series. And yeah, it is going to be a birthday card app. Let's see how it will look. So it is going to look like this finally. So before without any further delay, let's start Android Studio. I hope everyone has installed Android Studio prior. So yeah, I'm just starting Android Studio, and by that time when the Android Studio starts, let's see what does this app look like. So this is how it will look like when at the end it will have two text and an image. We will you will get an idea about Android Studio and the layout editor and all. So yeah, let's go to Android Studio right now. It's open. So you have, this is how Android Studio looks like when it opens. You will have an option for new project here. So just click on this new project and it will show a window like this. And here there are different kinds of activities available. So there is basic activity, bottom navigation activity, and different kinds of activity. So these activities, what is an activity? Basically, activity is basically a screen that you're seeing inside an app. So you have a home screen, you have a screen for profile page. So these are going to be different activities. You can think of it as an activity. So basic activity or bottom navigation activity or other activities mean that it already has some elements or some views built in. So for basic activity, you have a floating action button already there. For bottom navigation activity, you will be having that activity with the bottom navigation bar already there, so you don't have to write it from scratch. So for this particular project, we are going to choose empty activity. So you can also choose empty activity. I hope you are doing this along with me so that we will be on the same page. Yeah, just choose empty activity. And here you have a few fields, name, package name, and things like that. Let's quickly go through each one of this. So here you can give the name of the application. We are going to give it as happy birthday. And there is a field called package name, right? So what is a package name? Package name is the unique identifier for your Android application. Let's say you are going to publish your application after you build this to Google Play Store. So this is going to be the unique identifier for this application, and no other application on Google Play Store can have this package name. So this is going to be unique. By default, you will be having com.example.happybirthday. You can keep it like that because we are not going to publish this on Google Play or something. So yeah, you can keep it like that, com.example. Then you have the save location. So this is the default save location for your Android Studio project. It is going to be the Android Studio projects folder inside your user folder. And the language is of course going to be Kotlin. And what does minimum SDK mean? Minimum SDK is the minimum version of Android required to run your app. So right now it is written API 21 Lollipop. Let me click on this help me choose button here, this blue button here. And yeah, it shows a detailed chart of different Android versions and the percent of devices it is going to cover. Okay, so yeah, for you can choose the Android version according to your project's need. For now, we are just choosing Lollipop, which is going to cover 98% of the Android devices available in the market. So I'm just choosing Android 5.0 Lollipop API 21 as minimum SDK. Let's now try running building this. So we just gave some details for our project and we are just finishing the initial steps. So it starts creating the project. So for the first time it will take a little time. So by that time what you can do is you need this image, right? You can download this image from the link that is going to be shared in the chat. So yeah, you guys go to that link and download this image and keep it ready with you. I already have this image with me. I will show you. So this is the image. So yeah, our organizers will be pasting the link to download this image in the chat. You can download this image and keep it with you. Yeah, you can see the banner here. It will be soon posted on chat section as well. You can download it from that link. And yeah, the link is available right now. So show me a thumbs up after you download this image so that we can move on. Yeah, the link is available right now. You can download it and keep it ready. We are going to use this image inside our project. Yeah, show me a thumbs up if you have downloaded it. Yeah, I hope you guys have downloaded it. Okay, so let's move to Android Studio right now. I hope my Android Studio window is visible right now. Cool. So you have a file called activity main.xml. So what is XML? XML is a markup language, just like HTML. So if you have done HTML before, uh, okay, so Hariharan, is dice images only available? You're saying that? Okay, a new link has been posted in the chat. Check that, please. So yeah, let's get back to Android Studio. Okay, so what is XML? If you have done HTML before, HTML is hypertext markup language, right? So XML is also a markup language. So this is where you are going to write how your screens will look like. So this is basically how your app is going to look like. What all elements do you need inside your application screen? So you are going to write it here. Okay, so yeah, this is what is XML is. So now we are going to use, in this project, we are going to use this window called layout editor. So let's get started with the layout editor for now. There are different options available here like palette, component tree, attributes, and things like that. So you will just go through each one of this quickly. What is a palette? Palette has all available views that you can add to your screen. So what is a view? View basically means that on what you see on the screen of an Android app. So the text that you see, or a button, or an image, everything is a view. So there is something called layouts, which is also called as view groups. So what is a layout? A layout is the container that is going to hold each of your elements. So in this particular project, we are going to use the layout called constraint layout. There are so many layouts called linear layout, frame layout, table layout, and layouts like that. So for this particular thing, we are going to use constraint layout. And you have a lot of views available here like text view, button, image view, recycler view, which is basically a list, and we will be looking that in further sessions. Yeah, but this is basically a view. Right now you can see uh, it is written hello world here, right? So let's try to change this text. Just click on this text. You can see attributes tab here. So what is attributes? This view has a lot of attributes like size, width, height, or text color, the font, etc. So these all are the attributes for this view. So let's now try to change this hello world text. So how do you do that? You can just scroll down. There is something called common attributes, and inside this common attributes, you have a text field here. Let's try to change this to happy birthday, and this press enter. It changes the text to happy birthday. Cool. So this is how you change a text on Android Studio. I will give you like 1 minute to catch up uh, and just get started with layout editor so that we will be on the same page. show me a thumbs up once you have this ready and you are ready to continue. Let me know in the chats. Okay, so I guess it's ready. So let's now get back to this target that we had. We needed two texts and an image. So right now we have a text in the middle of the screen. I'm just going to delete this and going to add a new text view. So how do you add a text view to the screen? What you can do is you can just drag text view from this palette to the screen and place it here. You might have noticed we already have an error here. So what is the error? It says missing constraints in constraint layout. So this is the error. So let me explain why this error is coming. We are using constraint layout in this, right? So what is a constraint layout? Constraint layout basically works on constraints. So you have to set constraints for each view inside this layout. So we are just specifying where should this particular view should be placed. Let me click on this. And there is something called constraint widget here. This is where we are going to add constraints. So where do we need this text view to be? We need it in the top left corner, right? So we are going to add a constraint to the top and then to the left. So now the error is gone. We have this constraint set. There is something written 77 and 68 here. So what is this? This is, if you hover over this, it says left margin is 68 and top margin is 77. So what is margin? Margin is basically the distance between the edge of the parent. So the parent is basically the base layout. The distance between the edge of the parent and this view, that is called margin. So this is the top margin and this is the left margin, or the margin start, we will say. So we are going to change this to, let's say, 16, and here also 16. Yeah, so we just change the margin here using this constraint widget. So what is the unit for the 16 or 77 or whatever we write here? What is the unit? The unit is dp, or density independent pixels. So it is not exactly pixels. So Android will be calculating the pixels according to the screen density, so that it will work perfectly on different devices with different pixel densities. So this is how it is going to work. So the unit is dp, and whatever thing that we are going to give, height, width, and margins, padding, everything will be in dp only. So yeah, we have a text view right now. We just want to change the text to happy birthday Sam. So for that, I'm just going to change the text attribute here inside the common attributes text. I'm just going to write happy birthday Sam. Yeah, we have the text here, but we need slightly more text size for this, and we need a black color, right? So for that, I'm going to select this view. And inside this attribute, there will be an attribute called text size. You can find it within the all attributes section here, but instead of searching, scrolling down through all this list, what you can do is you can just search for text size here. Yeah, you can see there is a text size attribute here. So let's say we are going to give 28 sp here. So we just gave sp, not dp. So what is the difference between sp and dp? SP is the preferred unit for text sizes. So SP is by default DP in all devices, but you have an option to change the font size in your Android device, right? So maybe some old aged people are using your application. So they have just set the font size of their device to large. But if you are going to give the text sizes of your app in DP, it is not going to change according to their settings. So in order to make your app more accessible to more people, you are just giving text sizes in SP so that it will be readjusted according to the settings of the user. So it is always recommended to use SP for text sizes. Now we are going to change the text color. So let's see how to change the color. For that, you can just search text color here. You will have an attribute called text color, and you can click here and just write black. You will have an option called @Android is to color /black. So you can select that. This means that this color is already built in inside your project. So you can access this in whichever project that you're going to make in Android Studio. I'm just going to use this Android at the rate Android is to color slash black. So this is the thing that I'm going to, this color is is what I'm going to use. Just press enter after that. It will change the color to black. So yeah, what did we just do? I will just give a quick recap. We just dragged the text view from this palette here. We just changed the text to happy birthday Sam. Then we just search for text size and we just set it to 28 sp. Then we just search a text color and set it to black. So this is what we just did. Also we set the constraints for top and left. So that's it. We just added a text. Now we need another text called from Emma, right? For that, we are going to drag a text view somewhere around here. It shows an error, same error it should be showing that the constraints are not set. If you hover around here, it says missing constraints. So just click on this text view and add constraints to right and bottom. So why are we doing this? Because we need it in bottom right corner, right? So we just added a constraint to right and bottom, and it is set to the parents right and bottom. So we are going to give this also 16 margin. Press enter. So yeah, we have a text view right now. We are going to change the text of this text view to from Emma. For that, click on this text view, then go to the text attribute and give from Emma and press enter. Now we have both of these text ready. We are going to increase the size of this text as well. Select this. You can search the attribute here called text size. And let's say we are setting it to 20 sp. Okay. And now let's change the color of this text also to black. Yeah, now we have two of the texts ready. So we are halfway done. We have two texts. We have changed the text color and the size. So yeah, I hope you guys are following. Add both these texts. I will give like around 1 minute to catch up. By that time, I hope everyone has this image downloaded. So yeah. Okay, so let's now bring that image to this project. So I'm just going to show you the recommended way that is shown inside your course, that particular course that I showed. So yeah, let me do that. You can go to the view tab, then go to tool windows and go to resource manager. You can also do this by clicking on this resource manager here. So let's go to resource manager and I'm going to add the image to this project. For that, there is a plus icon on top left corner. Click on that. And there is an option called import drawables. So all the images that you're going to add to this project is going to be inside a folder called drawable. I will show you the folder structure in a moment. So these image resources are called drawables in Android. So we are just going to import this image. Click on import drawables. It will open a file explorer. Select where your image is. So my image is inside downloads. So inside downloads, the file name is Android party something. Let me see. Yeah, Android party.png. I just selected that and click OK. Then it will show a preview of the image here. Click next. And now you can click on import. So this image is right now available in our project. So let's switch to the project view now. Let me quickly show you the folder structure. You have a main activity.kt. So .kt is extension for Kotlin file. So this is going to handle the logic for your application. This Kotlin files. It is inside a folder with the name as same as that of your package name. Then you have an res folder here. Inside that, there's a folder called drawable. So this is where the image that we just imported is going to be. So yeah, this is the image that we added. Then you have a layout folder where this activity main.xml file is there. So we are working on that currently. So that is inside the layout folder, which is inside the res folder. So yeah, now let's add this image to our screen. For adding an image, we are going to use a view called image view. So I'm just going to drag this image view into this screen, and it will ask to select a resource. I'm just going to select this Android party image and click OK. Now we have the image in here. We have the same error as before. So I'm just going to add the constraint. So if you don't see all attributes here in the attributes panel, just check if you have just search, if you have some text in the search bar, just clear that here to get all attributes back. So okay, so for adding constraints, you can either use a constraint widget, or what you can do is you can just use this particular handle here and drag it to the start of the parent. And for the top also, I'm going to give it to the start of the parent. We need this image to be vertically, middle, and horizontally in the center, right? So we are going to add constraint to all four sides. For that, we are going to add constraint to right and constraint to bottom as well. So right now it is aligned perfectly in the center, both horizontally and vertically. So we have added constraints to all four sides, and right now we have the image here, but in the actual thing that we needed to build, it is covering the entire screen, right? So we need to fix this because this image is right now only in the center. For that, there is something called scale type for an image. Just click on this image and you can just search for scale type here. Yeah, there is an attribute called scale type, and here you can just click on this, and there is a scale type called center crop. There are a lot of scale types available. You can explore this on your own, like try different scale types and see what is the difference. For this particular purpose, we need center crop, which is basically going to fill the entire screen without changing the ratio of your original image. So yeah, we have the image filling the entire screen, but there is an issue. We can't see the text anymore, right? So for that, what you can do is, there is something called component tree here, which basically shows what all views that you have inside the layout. You can just drag your image view to the top. Now you have the image in the background and text here. So yeah, we just reached our target. Like, we have two texts and an image covering the entire screen. Okay, so right now we are going to run our application. So there are two ways to run your application. You can run on a physical device. So if you are running on a laptop with slightly lesser graphics, you can run on a physical device, which is going to be comparatively faster. So right now I'm going to show you how to run the app on Android Emulator. So there is a run button here. You can just run the app. Let the app run. For the first time, it should take some time. So yeah, let's see whether it is building. It's installing right now. Okay, so someone has asked in the chat, what does Gradle mean? So Gradle is basically a build kit tool. So you just write how to automate how to. I'll just show you what is build.gradle file. So if you are using external packages and all, you are going to write your dependencies inside your Gradle. So yeah, this is what is a Gradle is. So it is basically a build toolkit where you can define your build configuration and all. It is a slightly advanced topic. We will be handling this thing in for the sessions also. So yeah, this is what is a build.gradle is basically. It is basically a build toolkit where you define your build scripts and all, and you write your dependencies, external dependencies and all. Cool. So yeah, our app is now running. Yeah, hooray. So we just have our first app running on an emulator. So yeah, guys, we have our app which is looking same as what we expected. We have a text view. We have saying happy birthday Sam. We have a text view with from text, and we have an image filling the entire screen. So yeah, we just successfully built our first app in Kotlin, and yeah, how cool. So now let's get back to Android Studio for a minute. We can see that there are some warnings shown here. You can see yellow triangles here. So let's take a look at what is the warning. So this text view has a warning saying hard-coded text. Click the badge for detail. Let's click on this and see some details. So it says hard-coded string. You should use string resource. So what does this mean? I will just show you one thing. Inside the values folder, you have a strings.xml file. Take that, and inside that you have only one string called app name, which has the value happy birthday. So let's say you have a lot of text inside your app, and if you're going to hard code all these things, right now you are developing for English language only. So let's say later you are going to make this app available in different languages. So at that time you need to translate all this text to that particular language. So if you are going to hard code this in your XML file, it is not going to happen. So if you are going to type it in strings.xml file, you can reuse it wherever you want, and also the translations will be very easy. So that's why we use strings.xml. Let's say you have a very long text that is repeated on 10 screens. You don't need to write it as such in all these 10 screens. You just need to refer this strings.xml, and you can reuse that resource. So right now, to fix this warning, you can just scroll down and there is a fix button here. Click on fix. It will show a window like this saying uh, the source name will be happy birthday. So this is going to be the key inside the strings.xml file, and this is going to be the value. So it will just automatically fill all this for you. You just need to click OK. Now let's go to strings.xml. It just added a new string here with the value happy birthday Sam. So it is now referring to this particular string. So that warning is fixed. Let's do the same for the other text view and fix this. Click OK. Yeah, now we have another, we have fixed the warnings for text views. There is one warning for image view. Let's hover on this. It says image without content description. So there is something called content description for an image. So if accessibility feature is turned on your Android device, what it usually does is it just reads out the content description for an image. Uh, Content description for an image if the accessibility is turned on. So if your user has difficulty in reading or clearly seeing the screens, or they have some visual issues, viewing issues, the content description will be read out loud. So that's why we use content description. So this particular image is not very important for using this application, right? This is just a background image. Let's say you have a profile image or a profile page or something, and you have a profile picture here. You should add the content description that this is a profile image of this user, something like that. But since this is not very important for accessibility, we are just going to search for an attribute called important for accessibility, and we are going to set it to no and press enter. Now the warning is gone, because since this is not important for accessibility, we don't need to add the content description. You can also solve this warning by adding a content description. There is a field called content description here. You can add whatever text you need in here. So yeah, we just fixed all the warnings. Let's try running this again. No changes. There should be no changes in the front end, but we just adopted some good coding practices. We just fixed all the warnings. So yeah, the app will work the same. So cool. I think you guys are following. We just finished our first app in Kotlin. So next we are going to have a dice roller app. We are going to build a dice roller app. where we will start with Kotlin backend as well, Kotlin for your logic as well. So yeah, before we move on to the next app, let's have another quiz. It's time, quiz time. Okay, we have the previous leaderboard here. Let's get to the quiz now. You can go to mendy.com and write down this, type down this code, or you can just go to the link that will be shared on the chat right now. You can see the link in the banner. You can go to the link is same. You can go to the link. Yeah, you have the link in the chat now. Yeah, join up, guys. I hope you all can see this link in the chat. I think everyone is ready for the question. Let's go to the question. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's go to the question now. So be quicker. Okay. Which is the default font in Android? This is the question. You have 30 seconds to answer. Okay, okay. Come on, guys. 10 seconds. Let's see who is going to lead this time. Yeah. We have 10 right answers here. It is Roboto. And let's see who was the fastest. Okay. Let's see. Okay. We have Santa on the top, and just below that we have Prasanna and Sarthak. Great going, guys. We will be having one more question in the end. So that is the last chance to be on the top of the leaderboard. Okay, guys, let's now get back to our app. So yeah, we are going to build a dice roller app. So it will look like this at the end. It will have a button to roll the die, and it will just show a random number on this particular dice. So yeah, let's start a new project. So we are already in an existing project in Android Studio. What you can do for a new project, go to File, New, and New Project. We are going to select empty activity for this as well, and we are going to give the name as a dice roller. Okay. And we have the package name. I'm keeping it the default. Okay, so I think someone is having an issue. Aman is having an issue. I am not getting the design code split toolbar. Okay, so which version of Android Studio are in? If are you in the latest Android Studio version? I hope you are in the latest version for Android Studio. I'll get back to you in a minute. Let's finish building this, starting this project. Okay, so the minimum SDK I'm keeping 21 only, and let's finish this. I just gave the dice roller as name. That's it. Just starting a new project. You have the links for the images in the chat right now. So when the project is building, you can just go to that link and download these images. I already have this downloaded on my device. You will have 6 images like this. The link is available in the chat right now. I will give you like 1 minute to download the image and keep it ready with you so that we can use it within the application. So for the first time, we are just going to use a text view instead of this image and show the random number that we just made. Let me close the other project for now. Okay, so yeah, the project has been created. Let's get to the Android Studio. Okay, so someone has had an issue of this. They didn't see the code split design thing. So if you are using the latest Android Studio version, you should definitely see this. Please check that whether you are on main activity.kotlin file. You have to select this activity main.xml file only. Then you can see this 3 options for code split and design. So split is basically you have the layout editor plus this XML file here. So we will be using this XML to design in our next session. Apps in the next session will be designed using this XML tags. So for this project also, we are going to use layout editor only. So yeah, I think we are good to go now. Okay, so what all things do we need in here? We need a button. So for now, I'm just changing the hello world text to, let's say, some number 2. And I'm going to just increase the text size to 34 or something. And we need a button, right? So you can just drag a button from this palette and place it somewhere around here. I'm going to add a right constraint and a left constraint and keeping it 0 so that it is perfectly aligned in the center. Now I need the button just below this text view, right? For that, I'm just going to add the constraint to the top of this text view. You can just click on this constraint widget's top. It should add constraint to this, and I need a margin of 16 or something. And yeah, we have the button with a constraint to the bottom of this text view. So till now we have added constraints only to the parent, right? Start to the start of parent, end to the end of parent, top to the top of parent, and things like that. For now, we have for this constraint. Let's check what all constraints are here. Start to the start of parent. Okay, so the start is set with start of the parent, and end is also with the end of parent. And but the top is to the bottom of text view. So this is different here. So the top of this button's constraint is with the bottom of this text view. So this is how we relatively place different views inside this layout editor or inside a constraint layout to be specific. So yes, we need the text of this button to be role, right? So I'm just going to change the text to role. There is an attribute called text for a button. You can just search that attribute here called text. It is going to be role. Press on enter, and now you have this text changed. We have a warning here. it is same as before. It says hard-coded string. So I'm just going to extract string resource here. Just click on fix and click on OK. Now we have fixed that error. There is a warning showing for this text view also, but I'm not going to fix this. Why? Because finally we are not going to use this text view. We are going to replace this with an image. So yeah, we just added a text view and a button here. Okay, so now we are going to use Kotlin to handle the logic for this application. So how do we access these UI elements inside our Kotlin file? We are going to use something called ID. So each view we can assign an ID so that we can refer it uniquely in our Kotlin logic. So let me click on this text view for now, and so there is an attribute called ID. It right now has a ID called text view. Let me change it to TV underscore dice. So what I usually follow is I just start with the short form for the view. This is a text view, so I gave TV. So if it is a button, I am going to give something like BTN or something, followed by an underscore. And what is the use for this particular view? It is going to show the dice number. So just I just gave TV underscore dice. I'm also going to give an ID for this button. And it is going to be, let's say, BTN underscore row. You just click refactor here. It will just rename wherever you have written this ID. Right now we have only written here. So we have an ID for a button, which is BTN role, and we have an ID for the text view TV dice. Now let's move to the Kotlin file. Let's take a look what is happening here. We have a class with the name main activity. So as I discussed, the activity is a screen. If you have different screens like profile screen and something, you will be having a profile underscore activity underscore profile.xml and a profile activity Kotlin file. So yeah, here you might have noticed there is a it is extending from the class called app combat activity, just as we saw in the example for dwelling and all. We just extended from dwelling class, right? So this app combat activity is coming from this particular package, which is built in Android project. When you start a new project, you can just extend this. There are a lot other packages also available by default, like button, text views and all are already available. You can just call that class and access its functions. So inside this class, you have a function called onCreate. So this onCreate will be fired when the screen is visible to the user. So when the layout is inflated or the layout is visible, it just calls this onCreate function. As you might have noticed, there is no main function for this particular Kotlin file. This will be the entry point onCreate. So yeah, we are just setting the content view to r.layout.activity main. So this is referring to this activity main.xml file that we have inside this res folder, layout folder. So inside this layout folder, we have activity main. So this is what connects this XML file and this Kotlin file. And this Kotlin file knows that it has to access all its UI elements from this particular XML file. And right now we are going to access that text button here. So let's say I have a variable called val button, which will be of type button. So when you type button, you can see it says Android.widget. So let's just click on this, double click on this. It will just automatically import this button for you from the Android.widget package. And this button is of type this button, which is imported from this Android.widget package. And I'm going to give it is equal to find view by ID. So what is this find view by ID? I will say in a moment. r.id.btn underscore role. So let me say what we just did. We just made a variable called button, which is of type button. And we are just finding this view by the ID, which means that this will look for this particular ID. ID is btn underscore role. So this is how you specify an ID for a view, r.id. whatever ID that you gave here. So for this, we gave btn underscore role, right? So that's why we gave r.id.btn underscore role. And we are just finding that view by this ID. And yeah, this is how you refer a UI element inside Kotlin. So now let's create a class called dice outside this main activity class. So we just saw how to create classes and all in Kotlin. And we will be accepting a parameter called num sides, which is basically going to be number of sides of the dice, which is typically 6. So we will be having a function called roll. How to write a function? Just write the keyword fun roll, and this roll function is going to return an integer. And here we are going to return. I'm going to write something like one dot dot num sides dot random. So what are we doing here? We're just returning a number. So this is going to get us a number, that is clear. But what is this one dot dot num sides? This is, we are defining a range. Okay. Let's say we have one dot dot 6 here. So it means that this is a range starting from 1 and ending at 6. And it is going to generate a random number between 1 and 6, which 1 and 6 are included. So dot random is also a built-in function available in Kotlin. You can use it directly. So one dot dot 6, this two dots are specific. You need to have two dots itself. It is mandatory. So this is a range. One dot dot 6 means it's a range from 1 to 6, and you are generating a random number from this range. So this range dot random will give you a random number between 1 and 6, and you are just returning that random number. So that is what happens if you call this roll function for this dice. So let me create another function called roll dice here. So inside this, I am going to make an object for dice. This is how you make an object. We saw this already. We have to pass a number of sides here. It is going to be 6. So also here we are going to use num sides because it will generate a range from 1 to whatever number you pass in here. So if you want to have a random number between 1 and 10, you can have you can pass 10 here, so that you will get a random number between that. So yeah, we just created an object for my dice. Let's say I have a variable called random num. You can give any name you like, and it is going to be my dice dot roll. So what is happening here? You are just calling this roll function inside this dice class, and you will be getting an integer in this random number. So you will get a random number between 1 and 6 inside this random number variable. And now we are just going to set value for this text as the random number that we got. So how do we refer the text view here? We are just going to have a variable called result text of type text view, and we are going to find view by id r.id.vb dice. So this is exactly same as you do for the button here. We are just finding the view by id, and right now we are going to set the value for this text. For that, you can just call this text view variable and just write dot text equal to. So basically you are texting the text value for this. We want the random number to be shown there, right? We are going to say random num, which is the name of this variable. So we have an error here. Why? It is a type mismatch. Why? Because this is an integer. As you can see here, we just mentioned that it will be of type integer here. So you cannot set an integer directly as a text for a text view. What you can do is we can typecast this by converting this to a string. So to convert an integer to a string, you can just use dot toString method. It's already there. You can just directly use this. And now we have fixed the error, and we have successfully returned this roll dice function. But we haven't called this roll dice function yet, right? So when should we call this roll dice function? We should call roll dice function when the user clicks on the button. So how do we know when the user clicks on the button? There is something called on-click listener. We are going to set an on-click listener for this button. I will show you how. You can just write button dot set on-click listener followed by curly braces. So what is an on-click listener? On-click listener is basically, what is a listener? It is listening to the UI changes. So when you click on that button, it is going to fire this particular lines of code that you're going to write within this curly braces. So when the user clicks on that button, it is going to fire this particular lines of code that you are going to write here. So right now we just need to call this roll dice function, inside this when a user clicks on a button. Now let's try running this. Let's see if we have any error or something. Let's try running this. Okay, so it is building right now. Okay, so someone had an issue with running the app. It says target device not found. So yeah, as in the comments, as organizers have mentioned, make sure that you have turned on developer options on your phone and turned on USB debugging. So yeah, Amen. So Android part is just the image. You don't need to download it on your phone or something. It is just for adding it to your Android Studio project. So it doesn't have any connection with running it on your app. It is just an image. You don't need to download it on your phone or something. So if you are running this on a physical device, as Ritik has pointed out, you have to turn on developer options in your phone and turn on USB debugging. Then your device will be showing on this Android Studio and you can run it. Otherwise, you can use emulator. So you can select any of the emulators here, or you can just go to this AVD manager here and create a new emulator of your preferred Android version. It is pretty simple. You can just select this AVD manager and click on create new and just click next and next. You can have an emulator ready. So yeah, we have this app running now. Let's try clicking on this roll button. Yeah, it is working. We have a random number generating app ready. So our logic is working. So yeah, we have reached I think 50% of the app. We just need to add images instead of this text view now. So yeah, our logic is working. Now let's import these images to your Android Studio. I hope you all have downloaded the dice images now, all these 6 images. We are going to import it to Android Studio. We are going to use the same procedure. If you guys have still not downloaded it, download it. I'll give you like 30 seconds or something. Okay, so I think everyone have this ready. Okay, so let me import this. Go to resource manager. You can go click here as well. And I'm adding all these images here. Click on this plus button on top left corner and click on import drawable and go to the folder where you have all these images ready. For me, it is inside the downloads folder. There should be an images and dice images folder. I'm going to select all these images and click on OK. Now all this previews for all these images will be shown here. Just click on next and click on import. So now you have all these 6 images ready inside your application, inside your project. So let's switch to project view now. And I'm going to delete this text view since we are going to use an image view. And I'm going to place the image view here. And for now, I'm just selecting this dice one. Okay. Let me add the constraints top, start, then to right and bottom. But it is too big, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set width and height for this image view. So let's just click on this image and go to the attributes, search for width. There are two things: wrap content and match parent. So wrap content means you can just Okay, so wrap content means it will be the width of the image view will be same as the width of your original resource image. So wrap content means that. So there is something called match constraint here. So for that you are going to give 0 dp, which means it will be filling the entire width of your base layout. So right now we are just going to give a fixed width of, let's say, 160 dp here. So if you remember from the last app, the unit will be dp. And for height, you can search height here. Set the height to, let's say, 200 dp. Okay, and now click on this. We have just set the height and width for the image view right now, but there is an error showing here, right, for the button. Just hover on that, missing constraints. So that's because we just deleted the text view, right? So we just have to add the constraint once again. Let's click here and add a margin of 16 or something. Yeah, we have it fixed right now. And I'm going to give an ID for this image view. Let's say img underscore dice and refactor. Yeah. So we have an image view right now instead of text view. Let's now go to the main activity. We don't need the result text view anymore. Yeah, I'm just removing that. Instead of this, we need to set the corresponding image view to image to the image resource to this image view when according to this random number, right? So when it is the random number is 1, we have to set the image for the dice image 1. When it is 2, the dice image 2, and so on up to 6. So for that, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have a variable called image resource is equal to. Now I'm going to use the when statement that we saw in that Kotlin Basics part of today's session. When random num. So if it is going to be 1, the image resource will be r.drawable.dice1. If it is 2, it is going to be r.drawable.dice2. So I'm just going to copy this. If it is 3, just 3. If it is 4, is 4, 5, and at last I'm going to write else instead of 6. Why? Because if it is not falling in any of these numbers 1 to 5, it is definitely going to be 6. Why? Because we have maximum 6 sides, right? So in the else statement, I'm going to write r.drawable.dice 6. So yeah, so we just use the when statement to conditionally assign a value to a variable. So what is happening here, when the random number is 1, it will set the value of this image resource to r.drawable.dice1. So the r.drawable.dice1 is basically referring to the image dice1 inside this drawable folder. If it is 2, it will be dice2 and up to dice6. We just assigned the value dynamically to this image resource variable. Now we are going to set this resource to the image view. So how do we access the image view? It is same. I'm going to say val result image type image view, just as we referred the text view here. I'm going to find the view by id r.id.img underscore dice. Okay, now we have reference to this result image here. Now we are going to set the result images resource, set image resource, and I'm going to set image resource to this image resource variable that we have here. This image resource is the name of this variable. You can give whatever name you like. Okay, so yeah, we just set the image resource for the image view according to the random number that we got. So let's now try running this. Okay, let's now try clicking the roll button. Yeah, it's working. It is showing random numbers on the dice. Yeah. So our logic is working perfectly. So we don't need, if we don't need a default image to be shown here, you can just search for the src attribute here. You can remove this line so that there won't be any image by default. Only when you click on role, that image will be shown. We have a warning here saying image without content description. So let's add a content description for this. Just search for content description, and I'm going to just add dice image and press on enter. Still there is an error because it is a hard-coded text. So I'm going to extract the string resource. Just click on this warning, click on fix, click on OK. It just adds it to the strings.xml file, dice image. Okay. So we just added a content description and fixed the warning. You can do one more thing. When you set the image resource, you can also change the content description. How to do that? You can do result image dot content description is equal to random number dot toString. So what we are doing is when you get a random number, you are setting the resource, right? So we are dynamically changing the content description also. So if the accessibility is turned on, it will just read out the number that they just told. So this is better user experience. So we are just setting the content description also dynamically. We have some, yeah, we just added content description. We just changed the image resource. Now let's try running this. Okay, so it's running now. Let me click on the roll button. Yeah, it shows numbers randomly. Okay, so we have reached our target. I will just give you a quick overview of what we just did inside the Kotlin file. Also, I will give you guys some time to catch up. Okay, so what did we just do? We just referred this button here by the ID. We just gave a variable name called button, and we just referred this ID, and we just set an on-click listener for this button. We wrote a class called dice here with a parameter of num sides and has a function called roll, which will return a random number, uh, which will return a random number between 1 and this number of sides passed to this class. So yeah, this is the dice function. So then I wrote a roll dice function here, which will create an object for this dice and generate a random number using the roll function. And I'm setting the image resource using when statement. When random number is 1, I'm setting it as r.drawable.dice1, and like that up to 6 I am setting the drawable. Then I'm referring the image view here using the image img underscore dice id, which is id that we gave in the XML. Then I just set the image resource to the particular image resource that we just computed using this when statement. And we also set the content description uh, using the random number dot toString. So we are just setting the content description as random number. So this is what we just did. Okay, so we have our app running right now. There are some suggestions shown here. Let's see what are the suggestions. If you see, there is a yellow line below this. It says function roll dice could be private. So what is a private function? Uh, Private function. Okay, someone wants to see the constraints again. Yeah, I will show it. Okay, so for the image view, you have constraints to all four sides of top, bottom, start and end of parent. And for the button, you have start and end to the parent and top to the bottom of this image dice. Okay, if you click on this plus icon here, it will automatically add the constraint to the bottom of this image dice, and you can give them specify the margin here. I hope it's clear now. Okay, so let's get back to this. So it says the roll dice function could be private. So what is a private function? A private function means that function will be accessible within this class only. So we are going to make this private function. So that warning is gone. So you can access this function anywhere inside this main activity class, but not in this dice class or anywhere else. You cannot access that. So the access is restricted to inside the class. That is what a private function is. Also, we have a suggestion to make this number of sites also private because it is not used anywhere else. So let's make that also private. We have one more warning. Let's see what is it. Okay, so we have an unused import here because this text view is no longer used. We can just remove this line. So yeah, you can see that there is a green tick here which says no problem found, which means that we have fixed all the warnings that were showing. Also, in order to format the Kotlin code that you just wrote, you can just use the shortcut Control Alt and L. It will just format all the lines for you. It will adjust the spacing and all automatically. So the shortcut is Control Alt and L. L for line. Control Alt L is the short form. You can use the same in XML as well. We'll do that when we are doing XML. So yeah, I guess we have reached towards the end of our today's session. Yep. We have our dice roller app ready. Also, we did a birthday card app. Yeah, before we wind up the session, do you guys have any doubts? Let me know in the chats if you guys are facing any issues. Okay, so if you have missed this earlier, there is a Telegram group for Android Study Jams 2021-22. So will be the official Telegram group for Android Study Jams this year, and all communication regarding the program will be through this group. And you can also use this group to discuss your doubts, queries, or any other problems that you are facing, and also to network with other participants. So join this Telegram group. The link is shown here. Okay, Sarthak is saying that my whole app is working. It's just that the dice and roll button are not in position. Okay, Sarthak, I will show you the constraints once again if it helps you. So you have an image view with a constraint to all four sides, and you have a button with a constraint to three sides, start and end, which is basically left and right to the parent, and top is to the bottom of this image view. You can check the constraints here, top to the bottom of image dice. So this is the id for this image view. Okay, so this is the constraint. So also check once if you have set the height and width for the image. Height I have set as 200 dp, and width as 160 dp. Can check that as well. I think it will help you out. Cool. It's really great that your app is working, that your logic is working. So you just made your first logic in Kotlin. Great job. So yeah, guys, I think there are no more doubts in the chat session section. So yeah, this is the link for. You can find this link in chat as well. So join this Telegram group if you haven't already. I'll wait for like 2 more minutes if you guys have any errors or doubts or any other issues. Okay, Ayushi, the recording will be available throughout. I mean, this is going to be available on the channel, on this YouTube channel itself. So you can refer it anytime that you need. So, yeah, it will be available all the time. After the live stream ends, it will be posted on the channel. So, yep, I think, guys, we can wrap up for today. I think you guys enjoyed the session. We let's see you in the next session. Okay, guys, thanks for joining today's session. I hope you learned something new. You just tried something exciting. So, yeah, guys, bye. Let's see for the next session. Bye, guys. See you.